Well, hello friends and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode, I will make a comparison between two very interesting bikes from Giant. It's going to be a comparison between Giant Defy Advanced 2 road bike and Giant Revolt Advanced 2 gravel bike. So you see, recently I got a question about these two bikes, so I think it's a very good moment to make a comparison between these two bikes from Giant. First thing first, let's see what are the retail prices of these bikes. So Giant Defy Advanced 2 has a retail price of $2,800, and on the other hand, Giant Revolt Advanced 2 has a retail price of $2,900. So this is kind of the closest values I could find, so the comparison is fair between these two bikes. Also, we gotta ask the question, who are these bikes for? Because when you look at the Giant Defy platform, this is all about endurance road bike. So it is a relaxed geometry, long days in the saddle, and basically a smooth bike ride. Giant Defy is an absolute legend when it comes to endurance road bikes, and this is what this bike is all about. So don't expect any, stiff carbon frame or any super light bike. This is not the point. On the other hand, when you look at the Giant Revolt platform, this is all about gravel bikes. So if you spend majority of your time on the road, but from time to time you like to go a bit of off-roading, nothing too demanding, preferably only on kind of light gravel roads, and maybe you also like to do some bike packing, then definitely Giant Revolt is the kind of choice for you. So you can always think about it as the Giant Revolt is a bit more robust platform compared to Giant Defy bike. Also, when you look at the paint schemes on these bikes, it's really good that Giant is offering two paint schemes on each of these bikes. So when you look at Giant Defy, you have this absolutely stunning amber glow paint scheme. I would call it like a metallic bronze paint scheme, but also you have another choice, which is the deep lake paint scheme, which I would also almost call like a kind of metallic dark blue, dark green. Beautiful paint schemes, both of them on the Giant Defy, and I'm always glad that bike manufacturers can offer multiple paint schemes. On the other hand, when you look at the Giant Revolt, you have this again beautiful starry night, as they call it, again a bit of deep darker blue with a hint of light blue, kind of greenish, beautiful paint scheme. And on the other hand, you have a very classical Panther paint scheme, which is a classical kind of black on black paint scheme. So it's really good that at least you have two paint scheme choices on each of these bikes. And specifically, as I say, my favorite paint scheme would be this amber glow on the Giant Defy. So now we can dive into the specifications of these bikes and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. We can kick off with the frame and the fork on these bikes. So when you look at the Giant Defy frame, so advanced grade composite from Giant, and also the fork is the carbon fiber fork with the full carbon fiber overdrive steer. Of course, this frame has 12mm through axles both front and the back. It's going to be a press fit bottom bracket and also a bit of internal cable routing. On the other hand, when you look at the Giant Revolt bike and the frame and the fork, so what do you get? So the frame again is advanced grade composite carbon fiber frame, and the fork is also advanced grade composite with the full carbon fiber steer. 12mm through axles front and the back. Also, it's going to be in this case, should be the press fit bottom bracket and a bit of internal cable routing. I'll just mention here that on the Giant Revolt, you also have an option of so-called flip chip dropout, so you can kind of change the length between the front and the rear axle by flipping this little flip chip dropout, and you can also change a little bit of the geometry of the bike. It's a very nice, neat addition on this Giant Revolt bike. Also keep in mind that carbon fiber frames from Giant come with a lifetime warranty, so on both of these bikes, Giant Defy, Giant Revolt, lifetime warranty on carbon fiber frames. Absolutely, when you look at this frame and the fork between these two bikes, that there's not much in it. It's the same kind of build quality from Giant, which is usually excellent, so absolutely no complaints here from me on both bikes. Now let's talk about the smaller pieces on the bike, specifically if you look at the handlebar and the stem on these both bikes. So Giant Defy comes with the Giant Contact SL Diffuse handlebar, which is aluminum handlebar, and the stem is the Giant Contact stem, again aluminum stem. Good thing here is that these are not proprietary pieces. It's easy to adjust your position, easy to upgrade in the future, and again these are separate pieces, which is absolutely excellent. When you look at the Giant Revolt, handlebar is the Giant Contact XR Diffuse, and also the stem is the Giant Contact stem. Again, aluminum pieces, separate pieces, nothing is proprietary here, which again is absolutely excellent, and again, easy to replace, easy to upgrade, or if you want to adjust the position on the bike, superb in both cases. Now let's talk about the seat post and the saddle on these bikes. So Giant Defy comes with the Giant Approach saddle and the Giant Diffuse carbon fiber seat post. And when you look at the Giant Revolt, you are getting the Giant Approach saddle again and the same Giant Diffuse carbon fiber seat post. Again, superb stuff here from Giant. Carbon fiber seat posts are a must in my opinion, because they will soak up so much of the smaller road bumps on the bike, and again is the same components here on both of the bikes, so no complaints from me here. Now let's talk about the group set on these bikes, because here you will see the first difference between these two bikes. So when you look at the Giant Defy bike, we are talking about the Shimano 105 mechanical group set. So shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything is Shimano's 105 mechanical group set. So this is 11-speed mechanical group set. In my opinion, excellent mechanical group set from Shimano. Again, no complaints here from me. I'll just mention that when you look at the Giant Revolt, it has a mix of components. So the shifters are the Shimano's GRX 600, and then the front and the rear mech are the Shimano's GRX 810. So you see, GRX is the Shimano's dedicated gravel group set, and the top of the line is the GRX 810. So you are getting top of the line rear mech and the front mech, and then on the shifters they just went one level below, which is the Shimano's GRX 600. Again, this is a mechanical 11-speed group set from Shimano. It's going to work perfectly fine, and there is absolutely no complaints here from me. So when you look at the group sets, it's again, there's not much in it, because this is just one group set dedicated for the gravel from Shimano GRX, and then on the other hand you have a Shimano 105 classical mechanical group set for the road bikes. Now let's look at the braking performance on these bikes. So on the Giant Defy, you are getting Shimano's 105 hydraulic disc brakes with the Giant own MPH braking rotors, and these are 160mm front and 140mm back. 105 hydraulic disc brakes is going to work perfectly fine, absolutely no complaints here. The only thing that bothers me here is that the Giant is using 140mm braking rotors at the back, which is an absolute no-no in my book. It should have been 160, just because of good heat dissipation and much better braking performance. These Giant MPH rotors, I have no experience with them. I would expect them just to be decent, and always this is an easy option to upgrade in the future and buy a Shimano Ultegra rotors or Shimano XT rotors, SLX rotors from the mountain bike world. When you look at the Giant Revolt and the braking system there, you are having a Shimano GRX 400 hydraulic disc brakes with again the Giant MPH rotors, and again, and this combination is 160mm front and 160mm back, which is absolutely excellent. So a better combination of rotor sizes than on the Giant Defy. The only thing here is that these hydraulic disc brakes RX 400 are the kind of lowest level when it comes to hydraulic disc brakes in the Shimano's GRX group set. Again, I believe they're going to work perfectly fine, and I wouldn't complain too much. And definitely this is a good thing that on the Giant Revolt they have put 160mm rotors both front and the back. This should have been the same case on the Giant Defy, but it is what it is. Now let's talk about the cassette and the chain on both bikes and also crankset. So when you look at the Giant Defy, you are getting a Shimano 105 level cassette, 1134 cassette, which is paired with the KMC X11 EL chain, and also this is paired with the crankset, which is the Shimano's RS 510 crankset, and this is 3450 crankset, so you have this beautiful 1-to-1 range, 3450 crankset, 1134 cassette. Perfectly fine that they are using a KMC X11 chain, doesn't bother me. In the future, if you really want to upgrade the chain, you can always buy yourself a Shimano Ultegra level chain. When you look at the Giant Revolt, the cassette is the same Shimano 105 11-speed cassette, 1134 cassette, paired with the KMC X11 SL chain, and also here the crankset comes from FSA Omega 3248 crankset, so here you even have a lower gear than 1-to-1, so 3248 chain rings, 1134 cassette, so definitely with the Giant Revolt you can climb really steep mountains. I have no complaints about this FSA Omega crankset. It's gonna work perfectly fine. It's the same story when you look at the Giant Defy, which comes with the Shimano's RS 510 crankset, which is just one level below Shimano 105 Groupset, but again, no complaints here. I just believe it's gonna work perfectly fine, no problems. As I said, both of these bikes come with a press fit bottom bracket. The Giant Defy is the classical Shimano's press fit bottom bracket. Here on the Giant Revolt they've used the Praxis bottom bracket, Praxis press fit bottom bracket. Now let's talk about the wheel set on both of these bikes. So Giant Defy comes with the Giant's own PR2 disc wheel set. So this is a classical aluminum wheel set from Giant, 12mm through axles front and the back, sealed cartridge bearings, aluminum hubs, and also I have to mention here that probably the weight of this wheel set is gonna be around 2000 grams. This wheel set is wrapped in the Giant Gavia Fondo 1 tires. These are tubeless ready tires, tubeless prepared tires, so everything is ready for you, and these tires are 32mm tires. Absolutely excellent choice from Giant. They have included 32mm tires on Giant Defy, just because it's going to give you so much more air volume and a really smooth ride. And on Giant Defy, maximum tires you can fit are 35mm, which again is absolutely excellent, and personally I would probably fit 35mm tires in the future. Now let's see on the Giant Revolt. So they have used again the Giant PX2 disc wheel set, so it's the same, very similar story like the PR2 wheel set. Giant's own aluminum wheel set, sealed cartridge bearing hubs, the weight expected to be around 2000 grams. It's going to be a perfectly fine aluminum wheel set, no special complaints here. Here they've used the Giant Crosscut tire, a bit more aggressive off-roading tire, which is a 38mm tire, so of course much wider on this Giant Revolt and much more air volume. The good thing is that this Giant Revolt can go all the way up to 53mm tires or 42mm tires. This will depend on your flip chip position at the front axle. So this is a very interesting mode of operation where you can really change the width of the tire depending which kind of flip chip you are using. I would expect that both of these bikes in some kind of sizes, medium, large, specifically for Giant Defy, we are probably speaking about 8.5 kilograms to 9 kilograms, and the Giant Revolt will probably be just a little bit more heavier, because after all you are even having a bigger volume tire, and this FSA Omega crankset is I'm guessing going to be a bit more heavier than the classical Shimano's RS 510 crankset. So now in a summary, when you look at these two bikes, so Giant Defy Advanced 2, retail price $2,800 or Giant Revolt Advanced 2 with a retail price of $2,900. So what is my advice to you? What should you do? Well, personally, I would go with the Giant Defy Advanced 2 with a retail price of $2,800. Primarily because even if you want to go a bit off-roading, it's very easy to fit 35mm tires on this bike and still have a nice off-roading experience on some gravel roads, but as the platform, Giant Defy, in my opinion, is going to be so much more smoother and so much more kind of relaxed than the Giant Revolt platform. But I will mention here this thing. If you are really into gravel riding, and if you are really carrying a lot of kind of packs with you, which you are mounting on the bike, then definitely you should go with the Giant Revolt, just because of the multiple mounting points, and the whole chassis of this bike, carbon fiber frame in the fork, is going to be much more kind of stiffer and resilient than the Giant Defy platform. So the only choice here is that if you are really a heavy user of the gravel, then go with the Giant Revolt, but personally I would go with the Giant Defy Advanced 2, pay $2,800 and then just fit the 35mm tires on this frame, which it can easily take, and then you can easily go all around doing some, gravel riding as much as you want. So I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, please keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!